Real estate is got to be one of the fastest paths to wealth, and it can, it can achieve your goals faster and more safely as well. Whatever those goals may be. Maybe you're trying to retire early, build your wealth, whatever, have some fun. But I'm going to share with you how you can get a sizzling hot deal in real estate. It's a well-known secret, and you might be saying, Michael, how could it be well-known? I mean, if it's a secret. Well, a lot of people are doing it, so I guess it's not really a secret. It's well-known, but again, not a lot of people are doing it also, right? So more people are actually doing the opposite way of searching for places. So I'm going to show you guys in this video how you can get an off-market or private deal. It's something I'm doing right now. So let me share with you everything. And look, it could be your first property. Maybe you're thinking of buying and you're going to go online. Maybe you go to Zillow or Redfin or Trulia, or if you're in somewhere like Ireland, my home country, you go to somewhere like daft.ie, wherever it is. Or you go in, you talk to a real estate agent and you ask a real estate agent to help you out. If they're licensed, they have access in America. They've got access to the MLS, or the multiple listing service. In Ireland, it's a bit different. So I've got a friend and they're in Dublin and she's after buying her first property ever. It's just a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. Nothing massive, but she got a smoking hot deal. And hats off to her. She got it the private way. She went off market. And this is in one of the hottest areas in Dublin, where real estate is a premium, let me tell you. So she did an amazing job of getting it off market. So it can happen internationally. You can also do it here in the US too. So in the US, let me tell you, I'm looking for something a bit bigger. I'm not looking for a 1-bed, 1-bathroom apartment like she was. I'm looking for a 4-unit apartment complex, otherwise known as a fourplex. Now, anything larger, and I'd be into commercial financing, it just wouldn't be as good for me. But with the 4-unit apartment, I can house hack, I can live in one, rent out the other 3. So if you're looking for something even bigger, going off market and going private is probably going to be the best way for you. By the way, I've created something that you can use and I'm going to share with you for free. You can click below to download it. It's called the $10,000 Property Playbook, and it shows you how you can get into your first property for just $10,000, right? It shows you everything in terms of how I did it, and also shows you how to improve the value and get into your next one, so you're not just stuck in one, right? So that's good. It's all free. Download it and enjoy it. So assume now that we're looking at searching for a home, and imagine that you're looking for your first property, or maybe it's not your first property. For me, it's certainly not my first property. I've already had some of these multiplexes before, multifamilies, but I wanted to get a slightly bigger one this time. So assume that we have a buy box. Okay, a buy box is like, what are the actual criteria? What are the specifications? Like, what do you want to buy here? What kind of property? Is it an apartment building? Is it a 1-unit, it could be just a single family home? Or in my case, it's like a fourplex, the duplex, triplex, fourplex, 2, 3, or 4. Above that, it's, you're into even bigger places that are more commercial. Now, you also maybe want to know what neighborhood you're in. Again, this is not the video to determine what kind of what buy box you're going to use. You have to figure this out yourself. Like, what are the neighborhoods? For me, I love Class A, Class B, high quality neighborhoods. If you're into Section 8 housing and you want to get higher income and you want to get good cap rates or cash on cash, good for you. But I don't like paying more tax, and you tend to pay more tax on income than you do with wealth of the appreciation of the home. Because until I sell it, I'm not paying any tax. I like Class A, Class B, safe, by location. Number one thing for me is location. So I've chosen my location, chosen my neighborhood, done all my macro, I'm a macroeconomist, done my macro research, done my market research. I know it's low crime, it's high income, etc. Medium income. Now, once I know my area, and I do, and I'm going to move in there, I'm going to live there, the next thing I want is, okay, so I know what I'm going to buy. I want to get, for me, I'm not looking for a garage. I'm not looking for a fixer-upper this time, right? But for you, you might be looking for these things. But I'm very specific. I just want a fourplex. I really don't want a major fixer-upper. I want something that's almost turnkey, okay? My fixer-upper days are almost behind me now. I've had a few fixer-uppers, and you made a lot of money. That's very good if you're young and you're willing to work. They're great. But for me, I want my fourplex. The problem is, it's so rare. I mean, look, you go out and you look at the online listings and you walk around, you find that there's only a few listings. Very, very few fourplexes. Because look, multifamily, the small multi 2, 3, and 4, you might get some of them, but most of the time they're duplexes, they're 2-unit buildings. I'm looking for a 4-unit building, very specific. So very, very few. So look, in parallel, I have my real estate agent and they're looking at the actual public listings for me and showing me the ones that come up. But then I'm involved in a bidding war. And the last thing I want to do is get involved with other buyers and they're bidding up the price. And look, I'm a cold, ruthless investor. I just want the number, right? I see the number and is this a fair number or not? If it's too high and everyone is getting emotional and they're bidding on it, it's no good for me. So going to the public market, maybe I'll get it, but it's more likely than not I'll find it off market. And that's my secret. It's going off market, looking around. And look, if you see the ones online and you see that, oh, there's only a few, like there might be 1 or 2 a month, right in my area, there's hardly any. And of course, the same is true for everything you're looking for. You see lots of homes around, but very few for sale. You get into a helicopter, right? And you go up above the ground and you see there's houses everywhere. There's homes everywhere. If only you could buy them. The secret is you can. A little bit like private equity, you can. A lot of times people are willing to sell you their homes. They just haven't listed it yet. Now, I have used, in terms of technology, I have used an app called DealMachine. It's great. It works. I enjoyed it when I was looking for single family fixer-uppers. But right now, let me tell you what I'm actually using this year. Right, I'm going to share with you guys my journey, what I'm doing right now live. I like talking about what I'm doing. I don't want to be one of these theory guys. I want to be doing it in practice. So PropStream is the app that I'm using. Now you can get it for free for a week, but you'll only get about 50 searches. Now, with 50 searches, that might be enough, but for me, it certainly wasn't. So what I wanted to do was just pay about $99 for the month and therefore get 25,000 searches. I'm going to save you guys time. I spent about 7 hours the other day trying to do this, trying to put in zip codes. I knew the zip codes I wanted, but I put them in, and next thing I started noticing that some of the properties that were in this zip code, they were actually not. Like I could see them on the map and they were in a different zip code, maybe the same county, but very far away. So I realized very quickly, okay, PropStream is not 100% accurate. What I learned from hours of searching, the trick is using a polygon, drawing on the map, drawing a polygon, drawing around the area you want, the streets, etc. So you drew this, and at least if you draw this, you're not going to get homes that are further out than your area. Yes, you might get some that are on the border of a slightly different zip code. You have to check that out, but it's much cleaner. Another thing I noticed is, you put in the search and you get thousands of homes. And of course, if the polygon, by the way, health warning, if the polygon, the area and the map, if it's bigger than 250 square miles, right now, it won't work. So you're just going to have to cut it up. If you're looking for something that big an area, you're going to have to do it multiple times. But what I do next, right, is that once I've chosen the actual area on the map, I then filter. And initially I was putting in way too many filters and I was getting no results. The trick for me with the fourplex wasn't to use multifamily 2 to 4 because it was just too arduous. I had to go through and I had to figure out, was it a 2-unit, a 3-unit, or a 4-unit? And most of the time it was a 2-unit. Sometimes it was a 3-unit. Sometimes it was even a single family. Sometimes it was a 5+ units, all over the place. There's a lot of misclassification. And you're just going to have to deal with that. Way too much misclassification, right? So look, how I solved it was I put in residential quadruplex, just the quadruplex. I know I might be missing out in listings, but it was a bit cleaner. Now, I had to verify then, was it actually a quadruplex or a fourplex? The trick I discovered was going to countyassessor.org. It's completely free. You get a certain number of searches per day. Then you can sign up again for free, and you get even more searches. But it is limited on a day by day. But look, you're not going to have to do it for every property, because sometimes what you'll see is it'll come up on Zillow, or the big trick for me was Redfin. On Redfin, some of the public information, some of the actual stuff on exterior, it will say things like land use code, and it will say quadruplex. And look, am I 100%? No, but it brings me closer and closer. And when you're doing a big search first, you want to go big first and narrow in second. So I was going through this, basically property by property by property, right? Making sure, and it would take me about a minute or two, only a minute or two per property. But if you're building, let's say, a list of 100, like ideally you want to get to 300, right? I got to about 100 yesterday. And pretty much all of them, I'm 99%, in some of them I'm 100% sure, but in all of them, I'm 99% sure they are. But the 3 words, trust but verify, will get you very far in real estate. I've also heard it will get you very far in private equity from my private equity colleagues in New York too. But trust the numbers you're given, but then verify them. You want to filter these particular properties. Like even when you get that list, let's say you get 100, right? And what I did, I got the list, I exported it, I saved it first, then I exported it, and I imported it once I actually corrected it, etc. And I had to go back and forth and back and forth. And I went through it, I could see the pictures of the properties, and look, if the property looked completely dilapidated, I wanted nothing to do with it. I did not want a major fixer-upper. If it looked like it's good, but it's right underneath the highway, or it's like right on the wrong part of the street, the wrong part of the tracks. No. But you're going to have to do that, right? That's just the purpose of this, right? We're trying to get sizzling hot deals. You have to do the work to get those sizzling hot deals. Now, you can employ a virtual assistant. You might get one in the Philippines if you're looking for a cheaper, like online jobs.ph.net, or you could get an American if you're going to look for, say, ringing up with the accent, etc., if you want to get ringing the actual people that own the properties. But I would suggest that you do it yourself first, unless you have absolutely no time. But look, you can create some time, right? Sleep less, right? You can create some time. So once you've filtered the ones you want to buy, you want to make sure that you'd actually want to buy these properties. Now, you don't have to go in and walk them and see them yet. You're going to make an offer before you probably even see them necessarily. So what I would think about doing next is when you're in, and this is the beauty of PropStream, you can see the owners, and you can see, again, it's 99% accurate. Sometimes it's wrong, sometimes it's right, but it gives you the names, and it also tells you how long they've owned the property for. Here are 3 tips for knowing that you could possibly have a good negotiation with the off-market deals. Number 1, if they've owned it for at least 7 years. Now, as it gets closer to 7 years, it's probably okay, especially if it's a commercial or LLC. If you can see it's like LLC, sometimes cash buys, LLP as well, right? Because sometimes these can be commercial buys. These can be syndications, funds, etc., that have bought these. These are investors that have bought these fourplexes. And usually they get these commercial loans that are usually due sometimes at the end of 7 years. Or they want to exit. They want to give money back to their partners. And so this is a time that they might be wanting to sell. So you might be their savior, right? You might be coming in and offering them to buy. They may just not have got around to listing it yet. So that's a good thing. Look, I wouldn't be that interested in trying to make offers to people who've just bought the property. They're probably not going to want to sell it to you. But if they've owned it at least about that amount of time, and if they're commercial especially, great. The longer the better. If they've owned it 30 years, 40 years, now we're getting into older properties. But if they have, at that point, they're probably fed up, they're tired, they don't want to deal with tenants anymore, they want to retire, maybe they've got no kids, or they don't want to have their kids, they don't want it, etc. So that's a great one, looking at the length of time, the longer the better that they've owned it. A second thing to look at is if they're non-owner occupied. If they're living there, you've got less negotiation power, because when you want to talk to them, ask them their motivation. Like if you're living there, are you planning to sell it and to buy another one, like a 1031 exchange? If they're 1031 exchanging it, that's a great, great power for you, because that means they've got a limited amount of time to sell and buy the next property to avoid tax. So there you have negotiating power. But if they're going to just sell it to rent, or maybe they're going to move out of it and rent another place, you've got less negotiating power. But if they're not living there, I would say that's even better. So if they're non-owner occupied, and you can see that on PropStream, then, they don't feel as emotionally tied to the building. They're probably more easygoing in terms of selling it to you. They're probably ready to move on potentially. So non-owner occupied, that's great. They're probably absentee landlord. Look, they may be living in Florida, retired, you name it, and they just want to get rid of their property. That's great. Finally, I would say if they've got high equity, you can also see this in PropStream. If they own a lot of their property, you might get in with seller financing. So you might make them the bank, or even some installment loans to them. If you don't have good credit, if you can't get a loan, this is golden. If you can get seller financing, this is amazing, because you can negotiate the interest, you can negotiate the terms, and you can sell it to them. Look, guy, if you want to buy this seller financing, you can, you get rent. Like, they're essentially getting rent without having to manage the tenants. And if you don't pay, again, consult a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. If you need a lawyer, I'd suggest consulting a lawyer. But they can draw up contracts for you. And again, maybe you lose the property if you don't pay, so you can really sell this to the seller. Like, look, you get all these benefits. They don't get hit with a massive tax bill that first year if they're selling it, because they're not selling all of it at once. They're selling it in chunks, right? It's like a mortgage. They're not paying a huge amount of tax right up front. So that can be helpful for them. There's a free guide that you can click below to download. It's called the $10,000 Property Playbook. Totally free, packed full of value, teaches you everything you need to know in terms of buying your first property. It's what I did. If you want to get in for less than 10,000, this is a great way of doing it. So again, you don't have to get multiple properties. You don't have to go as big as I'm going. This is a fourplex. It's not my first property, let me tell you. But all you got to do is do one property at a time. So let's build wealth one property at a time, and I'll see you in the next one.